Sup idiots, welcome to another Jubilee video. This one is another odd one out. We love these. These are very good. This video talks about weight and it's trying to pick out who is the non-overweight person in a group of people. This is actually a pretty fun video. I really enjoyed it and just listening to like the perspectives of the people talking was really interesting. Please enjoy this Jubilee video. Don't forget to rate, like, and subscribe. I really would appreciate that. Try and figure out who is the odd one out by just listening and playing the game. I'm pretty sure the only thing wrong with why they did this one is they really, instead of like, the fun of the odd one out is that you try and guess which is the odd one out. But in this one, they kind of just did that for you. At the start, the guy came forward and he's like, I was previously overweight, so everything that I said, I'm not going to lie about anything because it will seem really devious. Which I guess is nice, but still, kind of cringe. Welcome to Jubilee. We've done these a couple of times with like, who's tall, who's the odd one out, who's like the oldest or whatever. This one is 6 plus sizes and 1 skinny person. Can the plus sizes figure out who the skinny person is? This is going to be a super interesting one because I actually have no fucking idea what questions you can ask this person. Because I feel like it would be pretty easy to just like lie. So this one's going to be super interesting because I really like seeing how they kind of like find the sussy among us or like imposter us and how the person like hides. It's pretty good. It's like Among Us except for like your physical attributes. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Where do you guys buy your jeans from?
That honestly depends. I've had some luck. I mean, I present more masculine, so a lot of the times I will like resource to Old Navy. I'll just kind of go there and like get one of the bigger pairs. I actually did just get a pair from Old Navy like a couple weeks ago, and I love it, but it's a little big in the waist, so I do have to take it in. I'm probably gonna tailor it though. So, but I do love Old Navy's jeans.
God, talking about Old Navy, quite a long time, huh?
I don't really wear jeans, but I think the only 2 pairs that I own are from Shein.
I feel like it depends what style I'm going for.
True.
Like for fitted jeans, I definitely think like Good American's my go-to. Obviously, they're like on the higher end of like pricing wise, but they like make my ass look great.
Well, that's the thing. Also, like getting the confidence to actually wear what you want, it took me forever.
That's giga-true.
When I actually did, I'm still in the mentality when I was like 16, 17 and I could fit in a medium. So I'm like, oh, I can't go to the same stores. Like I can't go to a mall and
especially people that are like chronically overweight as well. Like those people that literally, no matter how hard they try, they can't get rid of the weight because of like metabolism problems or like because of genetic problems or because of health problems and stuff like that. Like they are literally just stuck in that kind of body. I guess it is super nice when they actually have good clothes that they feel confident in. It'd be super weird to like, especially like that girl said she like shopped at Old Navy. You know how shit it would feel to like be stuck a certain body size and have to like shop at like a store called Old Navy. Whoa, dude, a subscription. Oh, thank you for the sub, dude. I appreciate that. What's up?
Holy shit.
Holy shit, dude.
I would say 2 years ago, I would go to like Goodwills and Value Villages, but that has become a lot harder as of late. The reason that I chose to do this was mainly because it meant a lot to me to share the idea of like, as you transition away from being in a bigger body to potentially being in a skinnier body, that is not something that like makes...
That's such a, sorry, but that's such a weird way of like saying that. Transitioning into a bigger body to a smaller body. You mean losing weight? Why did he say it like he's really worried about offending someone? Like, you can be happy about someone losing weight without being, like, fat phobic. What the fuck? Metamorphosis. What the fuck?
Makes you harder working or better at, like, achieving some sort of goal than the other person or another person that you may see in a plus-size body. And going into it, I, like, promised myself I wasn't going to tell any lies. I was going to be very truthful and speak on every kind of experience that I had had leading up to today. I wanted to make sure that what I was saying was stuff that I'd lived through. I think putting on a character would be disrespectful to the other people that were here today.
I think that's the whole point of the game, though. Because, like, yeah, you can have, like, moral and you can morally grandstand over people, or you can just play the game and, like, have fun. Try and trick people and earn some money.
I just thrift most of my clothing, and like I have a tailor for my pants anyway. Like back in, yeah, 100%. Especially when I'm back home. I'm 15 minutes outside of New York City, so I usually just commute in there. There's this one thrift store, I don't know if anybody's been, called the L Train, and like that is really good for carrying bigger sizes. Back in my actual hometown, I can go to my tailor very easily. It's like a 5-minute drive from my house.
Okay.
So I thrift probably 90% of my clothing, cheaper, saves energy, and like it feels way easier.
There is no way he's gonna go pay like $15 for jeans, then go pay $45. Like, I get it, as a plus size person, tailoring for some things, great. But I could not believe for a second that he is tailoring every set. And I was like, he is not fat anymore.
Not gonna lie, shop at Roz.
How did she know? She's cheating. Nothing there made me sound like he's not fat anymore. All right.
Or Marshalls. And finding jeans is hard. It's a hit or miss. Sometimes at Ross.
It is
they have
obvious.
Sizes, sometimes they don't. But if it says stretch,
That man
then
said he has his
I'm
clothes
usually
tailored.
good on it.
It's
I
obvious.
can't even share where I got my jeans from. I realized that. I usually shop at like American Eagle. Jeans in general are like a struggle to find. Either they fit your thighs and they don't fit your waist, or they fit your waist and it's a struggle.
He only got one.
Oh man, I did feel, I guess, invalidated in a point because they were talking about,
Invalidated. Why do you want to be validated as a plus-sized person? I thought the whole idea of being a plus-sized person is it's not meant to be like giga normalized, especially if there's health risks involved. I don't know. This feels weird. Yeah, Bradley, you skinny fuck. Like, I thought like people wanted to be skinny. I thought that was like the ideal physique. At least that's what like the ancient Greece people did. They literally figured that shit out ages ago. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I found that super weird.
And stuff that I can't really afford. So I thought my answer.
Plenty of people who are like
Roz, 'cause
in
that's
my
what-
life that are permanently fat people that have gone through operations. They've had, what's that stomach operation where they get the thingy? They've had those because they physically hate it because it's like 1, uncomfortable, 2, they can't get around and move properly, 3, breathing is hard. Shit like that. They really don't like it. I hate if there's like a positive stigma around it. Anyway, umbrella term for bariatric surgery. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like being fat phobic is just like completely not understanding is there's some people that cannot literally lose the weight and they are stuck in the body that they have. Whether that be through physical disabilities, genetic disabilities, etc. And there's a massive difference between like completely enabling people who are just like pigging out and just like fucking over their life, or like the people, like there's a massive separation of the two. Anyway, continue.
As a kid, and I know we were talking about how some of us
That's
were models
Eric.
before, sorry about names, but how that affected you growing up and how like the idea of performing and being on stage was definitely more difficult for you than your peers.
That is an awesome question.
Well, you start.
Sorry, that was
Yeah.
that was me,
So
not you.
I
I plugged it
was
in.
a math
Sorry.
team for my elementary school, which was like very fun and I enjoyed it a lot. But before our first meet, when we were doing practices and such, they gave us the vest sizes. And I remember putting on the largest vest size that they had and it clinging to my skin and making me very uncomfortable. And I walked into the bathroom and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I can't do this, and I quit. And it really frustrated me that I let that take away something that meant a lot to me. That was definitely like my first experience with like, it is very difficult for me that outside elements are going to take who I am and make
Right.
that a form of a problem.
As a woman in a plus size theater community, it's like I always got the funny roles or the really unattractive roles. And I'm like, I'm big, that doesn't mean I'm hilarious. Like,
Girl, we could talk about this forever.
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
super powerful because performing and becoming into yourself, you either have to be overly confident and fake it till you make it, or it will tear you down. So I'm very sorry that that happened to you.
How do we all identify? Do we identify, like, what do we use to label ourselves if you have one?
PHAT. Thank you.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling about that one for some reason.
Really?
I like just normal.
Yeah.
Because I'll say fat and then people be like, oh my God, fat. And then I'll be like, it's not inherently a bad
No,
word.
like-
It's an
taboo.
My
adjective.
biggest-
I
That's
say
the
fat all
thing.
the
No, but it
time.
is kind of taboo because I was like, oh yeah, I'm fat. Don't say that. You're beautiful. I am gorgeous, but I am fat.
I didn't say I was ugly.
It's oh my God,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
I was
People
like,
treat it like it's
right,
taboo, and
right.
that's
So
the
it's
issue, really.
it's two truths. I'm like,
Exactly, yeah.
I feel beautiful, but I am fat. Being fat or plus size does not mean that we're not active, that we're not nice people, that we're not worthy. It really
Facts.
sucks when people treat you differently because you're a size 18 rather than a size 2 or 4.
when I, like, for example, great example, I went Halloween shopping, and it's really hard because, like, first and foremost, trying to find the plus size costumes, they're like, oh, it's just kind of integrated everywhere. And it's like, realistically, you have 200 costumes here, but only like 10 are for plus size. Then I go on to the other costumes, and I was like, oh, my choice is to be like a duck or the plus size nun costume covered boobs, knees, everything, but the skinny costume for the other nun was like tits out for Harambe. And I'm like, so I literally, like, my choice is like be a bubble.
The reason is because a lot of the Halloween costumes, at least the ones that come in packets, are made of super giga cheap materials. So it's like, if they are like meant to be like supportive, like bra cover, like booby showing things, like it won't necessarily have the support there to actually hold the body weight. So it will snap and it just won't work. So it's like, yeah, they could show knees or they could like cut it shorter, sure, like around the legs. But when it comes to like actually holding the body properly, I think loose fitting is way better. Plus, a lot more people feel comfortable, especially when they're overweight, in looser fitting clothes. So to hit the largest amount of demographic, they just make it like looser fit. I think that's fair across the board.
Bath or a duck, and I'm like, I need a plus size section when I walk into somewhere.
Okay.
Because we have not progressed in human society.
There was this brand that, like,
I don't know why this is making me a little bit frustrated about like how they don't think it's progressive because there's not like there's a duck. What?
that had.
Does she want to be a giraffe or something?
Launching.
I fucking hate the blue duck. Me too, actually.
It was like completely different than the straight sizes, and I'm like, we are just asking for the same thing.
Why do they get cocktail dresses and I get moons?
Literally.
I think everyone's gonna vote for red shirt. Whoa.
Shut the up. What? Me?
Girl.
What? Yo! Oh my God!
I didn't know it.
Who voted me out?
I am equally shocked.
I'm psychic. I know. One of you was on to something.
If you think the mole is still in the box and you wish to continue playing the game, please raise your hand.
They're still going. Wait. Oh,
I think
damn. The mole almost got away with it.
Probably somebody who lived as a fat person,
used to be, yeah.
but lost the weight. But usually, a lot of the times, people that do grow up fat or go through weight loss journey, they end up being more fat phobic. That's not in all cases. It's not in all cases, but it does happen a lot.
Turning in on that, like, I really do think that in my personal experience, people that go from being in a bigger body into like becoming skinny feel some sort of resentment, especially because we've done for some reason. Like there's this very big principle of like, look at what I've done, and they push this like American dream-esque mentality of like genuinely like I worked hard and I did this, and it's like, well, not everybody wants to do that.
Not everybody wants to work hard.
Fine,
Like,
that's fine. If you want to lose weight, do that, but you don't need to like project that onto everyone else. And I would think if you were somebody who lived that experience as a fat person, you would understand.
Honestly, dating, I've met many guys who were like, I used to be big, so I understand that being smaller is more desirable, and it's just like this conversation just rubs me the wrong way because I've been met with so many people who think like that, and like the worst.
Well, I mean, it is. Like, people like that. It's like an aesthetic choice. You can't be upset. So if some people like bears, for example. I know gay friends that like bears. They do like bigger men. And I know girls that like bigger, burlier men. Not every single person in the world needs to be skinny. There's literally anyone for everyone around there.
First person I dated was very fat phobic, and they used to be bigger and they lost weight, and they were like shaming me.
Find me
about
one,
my
Corey.
body,
I will, man.
Like,
What a guy.
You'd have better sex if you were smaller and all that shit. Like, oh my God.
No, 100, and it's the connotation, right? Like, because they like quote. Sorry,
Fat is
I was gonna throw up air quotes, but we all blindfolded. Because they like put in the work. That part being in air quotes, and like became.
At this point, anyone.
All of a sudden, there's this
Wait,
idea, like,
yeah.
you aren't working as hard.
Yeah.
But again, not everybody wants to work that hard.
Exactly.
quote, unquote.
Can we also go down the line and maybe just say if we have
My mind immediately went to like some of my grandma's friends.
Growing in South America, there isn't a lot of overweight people, obese people, and I've always been curvy, so to speak. And I was fine, but I was still like, you know how they say I spent my skinny years thinking I was fat? So I moved to the US when I was 16, and I started gaining weight. You know, the life here is different. I wasn't as active. I wasn't doing sports anymore. And then I was on birth control. So for me, it was hormonal imbalance that made me gain a lot of weight. But it really
That's it. Wait, did she say where she came from? Because that's super interesting. Where she said she was fitter, and then she came to America, and she just like via being around the kid, like the world that America is, she just gained weight passively. That's crazy.
And you know, in my own skin, I'm gonna start crying. I'm sorry. You know, like being skinny, and like now you're fat, and like everybody treats you different.
I think it's difficult too because you know, I grew up fat. I've been fat my entire life, and I've always envied in a way I've always wondered what it would be like to live in a thin body and have people treat you differently. Like I've dreamt about it, and I think that is really difficult when you exactly. I understand what you're saying. Like you've lived both, and it's hard because you know, from people who haven't.
I'm getting very frustrated because they're talking about how they hate everyone idolizing a skinny body, and now they're saying that they idolize it themselves. This is weird. This is kind of frustrating how they were like saying, oh, people who want skinny bodies are fatphobic, but they want a skinny body as well. Like they're saying that she literally dreams of it. Like, what the fuck? Well, then why are you calling like people who want to be skinny like myself? I want to be skinny. I've put on weight and I want to lose it. As fatphobic, that kind of, I don't know.
And it's just we can't even fathom.
Don't even understand.
Yeah.
No. And speaking into the whole spending your skinny years feeling like you're fat, I definitely relate to that. I'm a bulimia survivor. I was bulimic for about 8 years, and I also played volleyball, and it was in.
God damn.
What? Because I wasn't crying. I'm sorry, y'all.
So the eliminations is something that we're wrestling with. Do you feel like it took away from the experience?
It was just like being in the space where we were sharing our stories and everything felt so heartfelt, but it's just a game. But overall, it was really awesome to be in the space and have these conversations that don't happen often if you don't have fat friends to talk about them with. As someone who grew up very self-conscious and didn't know where to look and turn to see people like me, I take that on as an adult to speak about these things and have these conversations that we're still confused about.
I still think it's important to push a healthy message though. I think it's nice to make it so people don't feel so belittled when they are overweight. Especially like I keep reiterating, people who do have physical and neurological maybe, or I'm like just reasons why they literally can't lose the weight. Whether that be because they've like gone to a stage where they can't anymore physically, they've had like what's it called, genetical like imbalance, or like a chemical imbalance like that girl had where she was like refusing to eat, would binge and then purge, so her body releases the no food hormone, but then that ended up flipping to being super hungry hormone. Like I understand that, but I still think, and like talking about it in a positive light is fantastic because it makes people not feel so alone, like she said. But I still feel like it's super important to push a healthy message if you possibly can. So even if you're overweight and you can't lose the weight, I think it's still very important to like at least get a little bit of exercise so your cardiovascular system is like still pumping. You don't have to go out and like kill yourself on a murder machine to try and giga lose weight. But as long as you're like moving your body and eating like your daily needed like proteins, carbohydrates, fats and stuff, enjoy life.
The box, and you wish to continue.
I just want people to be healthy and live as long as they can.
I swear to God, if anyone's lying, oh my God, I'm so pissed.
If the lights turn green, that means you have voted the mole out and you win. If the lights turn red, that means the mole is still in the box and you lose. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no,
we lost.
On the count of 3, everyone can take off their blindfolds. 1, 2, 3.
I knew it.
Wow. I told a heartfelt story about dating someone fat phobic. You guys voted me.
Okay, can we talk about 1,000,001 reasons why it was Derek?
Okay, the only one that got me was like the theater. Like I really could relate with that. So I obviously
Same.
know that
No,
you felt like you really
that
were
was
through
your
that.
biggest
I
red
think
flag.
that was true.
No, it was true. That's what I'm saying.
That's an
What gave me
important
away
thing.
was
Nothing.
scaring you away was
There is
that
not a single.
you
Yeah.
were getting-
So when I was in 4th grade, I was 4 feet tall. I was 144 pounds, and my doctor told me that I was morbidly obese, and it was a very like self-image wrecking thing for me because he used language that made it seem like I needed to change as opposed to just assessing where I was. Like I said, everything that I talked about before was true, but when we were talking about people being incredibly fat phobic that go through a transition of being in a bigger body and then ending up quote unquote skinnier, that experience for me.
Oh, what the fuck? Why do you have to quote unquote skinny? They're not gonna fucking kill you. You can say the S word around these people. They're not gonna fucking die. What the fuck?
Was I mistook the pain that came with not having self-love.
He
as
said
being
skinny,
associated with
fucking
being
kill him!
myself. And as I kept moving the goalposts further and further away
Alias.
from myself and saying like, this will be when I'm happy with myself, and this will be the time in my life where I like the way I look, and once I do this, I'll be happy with myself. I was no happier than when I started. I just kept being further and further from a goal that I was changing. I am happy not because of the way that my body looks, but because I can have self-acceptance, and that's a very difficult journey for anybody to go on, and me losing any form of weight played no factor in that. I hope that in watching this video,
I disagree.
somebody...
I think that him losing the weight, even though he like may have lost a weight and then he couldn't like settle down after, I still think when you take giga steps to focus on your health, after you see the effect of working on something for a long period of time, that fucking fixes your mental. The reason why people like say if you're depressed, go to the gym or do exercise or walk is because it's the only thing where you can literally see tangible like increases in like performance or like it's like a physical stat boost. So it's like, yeah, you might be able to only walk to the end of the street this day, but in a week you'll be able to do 2 laps or whatever. It's a physical increase. You can see progression, like physically in the real world, you can see that progression. Where usually if you're like reading a book or learning something, like your intelligence stat or something, you can't see that grow. I'm talking about life like as an RPG, it pretty much is. But it's like these little changes you can't see grow as much as when you do like gym stuff. So when you get out and do stuff, you feel proud that you've done it, 1, and 2, you can like, you know, see the difference after a period of time. So I feel like his self-acceptance, even though he may not contribute to the fact that he lost weight, you become proud in yourself for achieving something after a long period of time. Once his focus stopped being on like only the weight and turned to the fact that I achieved this, that's when he gained acceptance. And you can't achieve that by doing nothing.
Can learn that the horrible stereotype that they have of plus size people, whether that be that they're lazy or sluggish or they don't eat right or they're not healthy. There are people that are plus size that are faster than you. There are people that are plus size that are in better conditions than the average human being. I was definitely plus sized for a long period of my life, and I still feel the residuals of like the way people treat you for being in a plus size body, like to this day.
This is the first time that I'm hearing a lot of these things. Because at least for me growing up, it wasn't like being bullied or anything like that. It was just like my own mind attacking myself. Like seeing in the mirror and be like, oh my God, you're fat. You need to lose weight. Outside of that, like I didn't experience like the bullying and name calling. I didn't see any of that. So like hearing you guys, like that's a lot. I couldn't tell like how I had an eating disorder when I was younger and how
Bradley just seems
I
wholesome.
overcame that. And then I slowly started drifting back to it. And I'm trying to lose weight now in a more healthy manner. So I wish I could have told that story to the group.
I'm sorry to anybody that shared something personal and then like because of this feels like they were lied to or abused. Like I came into the game with the idea of just having fun, and I promised myself like I'm not gonna lie a single time that when I speak. It's like I didn't want to like come in here and build a character.
I hope people who watch this video, no matter what size you are, I think it's important that we're just kind to people and treat everyone with respect.
I hope everybody just takes away like empathy. You never know what someone's going through. You never know why someone's plus size. I don't know who made the rules, but we can create our own rules now, and I hope that everyone in the comments and everyone who's watching takes that away and just tries to be...
No, fuck you. Don't listen to the people in the comments. The comment people are idiots.